make the world turn what happened to me. It's not exactly what I thought it would be. I got my house on a little piece of land. This is the place I'm gonna take my stand. But I keep living on dreams. One thing I know, that's the way it's gotta be. Am I living the American dream? I keep searching for that dream of me, hoping someday that I will see myself in American dream. Chance I get, you can't change nothing if you don't do that. I pay my taxes even.
How y'all doing, baby? Guess what, baby? It's Sunday. It's Sunday and it's time for another Blue Dot family meeting, and I'm so glad y'all are here, baby, because I need to lean. I'm leaning today. Dwayne Twizzle was the first one who jumped in, followed by Dorothy Tyndall. Bart Larson is here. That smart-ass squaw Martha is with us, thank goodness. Jeanette Miller is here. Jeff Curry. Let me see. Michael Johnson. Hey, KY, how you doing? John Cass, glad you're here. Bonnie Bays. I can't get that madrigal out of my mind. Out of it. Glad you're here, Bonnie. Thank you very much. Nancy Halverson is here. Let me see. We got a whole bunch of people in the room. Irene Lambert. Dwayne Twizzle's here, thank goodness. Karen Van Wyk, how you doing, baby? I'm glad to see you in there all the time. Let me see. We got Kelly Harris from Fort Worth, Texas. Outstanding. Robin Arnold. Carol Lowe. Virginia Woodley from Virginia's Chat Show's here. So y'all go by and give her a listen, too. Mega Wet Willie's with us, as is our own Bernadette Pree. And Miss Chick is with us, thank goodness, because I lean on them heavily. Jake Clayton and Stephanie Dean are here. Went to go see some... Oh, went out to see movies. Going to go get some seafood. And tonight, ooh, look, man, the romance continues to blossom. Stephanie Dean, please take care of yourself, darling. All sorts of good vibes coming your way. Anyway, Kathleen Welch is here. Robert Arnold. Let me get on down here before we get lost and I can't catch myself up here. Jeff Lieberman just subscribed to our channel, and we appreciate that. Iris Giselle, Flat Ball Flyer. Anyway, everybody's here, and I'm glad the hell they are. Anyway, it's been a rough weekend, baby. It's been a terrible weekend, and the world is facing another tragedy of mankind's own making. It's devastating news out of Israel. The death count is over 700 now, I understand. A terrorist attack by Hamas into Israel. And some of the scenes coming out are just heartbreaking. There's no other way to say it. It's in the inhumanity of it. It devastates the soul. And believe me, this draws us closer into a very dangerous world we live in. We've already moved a carrier group, the USS Gerald R. Ford, into the eastern Mediterranean, along with all its support vessels, which is quite a contingency to move in closer. You know we're going to supply aid as much as we can to the people of Israel. And it's a devastating story, and it's very difficult to wrap your head around just exactly why things like this keep happening. And that's for greater minds, I guess, than mine to discuss. ponder through and wonder what in the hell happens to our world. But even as we speak here in the United States, they're stepping up security around temples and synagogues and mosques, afraid that this hatred will boil over in our country, and we can already see it in the streets of New York and LA. There are people on the streets, and it is. It should give us all pause. Anyway, Bernadette, how are you doing?
I'm doing a whole lot better than a whole lot of people on this planet today.
Indeed.
There was also an earthquake swarm in Afghanistan that has taken 2,500 people off the planet.
Yeah.
Y'all, we have so much to be thankful for.
We do.
We really do.
In this country, we do.
And one of them is the right to vote. So let's get out and do that.
That's one of the most important things you can do in this country is you exercise your right to vote. Anyway, Misha Chick, how are you, dear?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay.
I feel like the rest of everyone. You just, humans suck. We really do.
It's devastating to the soul. And all day I've struggled with this in my, I couldn't do a rant today. I just, the words aren't coming to me, and it's more like just a pure sadness.
It is a sadness. We have so much faith in humanity, and yet every time we turn around, something really stupid like this is happening.
It challenges our belief in it.
This was something that has been planned for an extremely long period of time. This is not a overnight, hey, let's go out and do this weekend type shit.
No.
This was something that was pre-planned. Had absolutely, and let's just debunk this off the top, nothing to do with the money that the United States had sequestered for Iran. Absolutely nothing.
That is the talking point on the right, though.
Shame that that's what's going on right now, and we just need to shut that shit down.
None of that money has been moved yet.
Absolutely nothing to do. Not a dime.
Not a dime of it has been moved yet. So no, this has nothing to do with.
And it just goes to show the division that is deliberately caused in this country to try to separate us behind the stupidest. Y'all do your homework. Be informed. It is most important that we're informed about what the hell is going on in this world, and that's just
in
not
the world,
in this
and
country,
in your country, and in your
all
backyard.
Over the world. All over the world.
That's the whole key to this whole family.
We don't live in bubbles anymore.
No, baby.
And what happens in Israel affects us here.
It will.
Every day.
It will.
Every day.
If we can get our Congress back, they're out done dicking around.
There's some parts of Congress I don't have hope for because these are clear freaking choices by these people. And the best thing that we get to do is to make another choice, and that's to vote no matter what, and to vote them out.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I can't see anything tonight.
Well,
that's the only thing that I can say.
Your own Texas Representative Mike McCall, chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, is asking Congress to quickly bring a resolution to the floor with or without a speaker to condemn the Hamas attack here. They need to make a statement, a formal statement, because the world needs to see that.
We do. We need to stand up. The sad part of this...
As a unified country and not this separate bullshit that's going on.
Right.
The chaos in Congress is part of the problem. We don't have somebody who can stand up and speak for the people of this country right now. Where are their leaders? Where is any leadership in Congress?
We are, where is the leadership in Congress? Hey, let me thank Bob K, who just came in with a $2 donation, said, oh man, war is stupid, much like MAGA. War is stupid, baby. What is it good for?
That says it all, really. It
says
it all.
It's ask the people who go. They'd be the first ones to tell you. It's You know, the thing is that the solution to this has been discussed forever. As long as I've been alive. Look, Israel was formed 4 years before I was born. Like many of us, Israel has been in the news in one way or another our whole lifetime with their struggle to even survive, to even exist.
All my life.
And we've heard that the solution is a two-state solution, but we can't get there, and we haven't been able to get there in 75 years. But this incident, this terrorist attack, and you can't call it anything else, this was pure terror brought upon the people of Israel, no matter what their reasons. This can't stand. 260 people at a peace festival, a music festival.
They have a right to defend themselves. They went in and they took people hostage, and they're still holding them. As long as they are still holding hostages, best believe Israel is going to defend itself, which it
Israel
absolutely
is not
has
known
right.
for taking much
and that
shit.
same right needs to be applied to Ukraine. They too have a right to defend themselves.
I think that puts the Republicans in a pretty sticky situation here. You want to step up to defend Israel, but you don't want to step up to defend Ukraine. And that's not a.
They did originally, though.
They did originally. They were all on board. And now it's like, oh well, I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Bullshit. We can't get out of this. This fight is going to extend. You know, this is, you know, again, we're already seeing it here in the United States with you know, fears of attacks on synagogues, on mosques, on temples.
Which I don't even understand. Why would it trickle over to here? Why would it? I don't understand that.
Because the passions are high.
Because the United States is a supporter of Israel. We always have been, and we always will be. We are their largest monetary and military support.
Indeed.
And that's why it trickles over here.
I want to give Mitch. How are you, brother?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man?
No,
Sorry,
I tried to call
before.
Huh?
You called me on the game, on the Steelers game
I
today?
wasn't thinking about the ball game. I was thinking about you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
I'm fine.
I hope you are, Mitch. I know you are. Just struggling today, you know, with the news out of Israel, and I don't know.
Well, that'll teach you to stop reading the news.
Yeah, and what fool am I? Yeah, I had no choice. It's all over the place.
You know, what do you do? What do you do? And forget about Judaism and forget about, theocracy and all that.
Okay.
What do you do when a guy who's a convicted felon and a hardline right-wing fanatic calls for vengeance?
Why do I think you're talking about Netanyahu?
Well, I mean, since when do we talk about vengeance? We talk about Jews are taught to talk about justice, not vengeance.
I believe Netanyahu's words was mighty vengeance.
I don't care what the fuck he said.
Yeah.
He doesn't want peace. He wants blood and death.
He is the hard right.
Sorry, I can't be part of that.
Damn, Mitch, I thought you was talking about Trump.
Yep.
He's
one
the
and
Trump
the
of
same.
Israel.
Is the same.
The
He's the
rhetoric
Trump
is
of Israel.
You're right, and the rhetoric is the same, and this ain't about vengeance. This ain't about vengeance. No more than Trump's bullshit is about vengeance. War. Let's get it real fucking clear. War is about money.
Yes,
Every time.
We do.
Every time.
It's what makes the world go round, baby. Either you have it or you don't. And if you don't...
And then you hear something like, oh, well, Biden authorized $8 billion of aid to Israel. That's what comes in out of the media. Do you know what I hear, John? Do you know what I hear, Bernadette? I hear Joe Biden sent an $8 billion check that there's no money to back to military contractors. That's what I hear.
That's basically what's going to happen, Mitch, because that's what they're talking, supplying the arms and the ammunition that Israel might need. It's the same thing we do in
to
Ukraine.
repel an invasion from people who already live there, okay? That's what we're talking about here. There's some sick shit going on over there.
There is sick shit going on because in my mind, Mitch, I've always held this thought of a two-state solution there. You know, that's the only way is to have it, because here's my thought. It's not that I have a soft spot for terrorism, damn sure don't. But I just, when I look at the map, here's what I always see. There's an Israel, but there's no Palestine there. There used to be a Palestine on the map.
Exactly. There used to be a Palestine.
And it was a real, legitimate nation with real, actual people and money and stamps and banks and farms
all
and
of that.
businesses.
And where is it?
And here's the thing, okay? It almost has nothing to do with it. It's this whole weird, freaking weird idea that somehow certain people are entitled to a piece of the earth. Makes no sense to me at all.
Have you ever walked up to the border and looked down and see if there was a line?
There's no line, John.
There's no line there.
There's no lines.
Hey, but guess what, Mitch?
Tell me.
My governor, you know, he loves that wall stuff. You know? And he's not just talking about Mexican wall. He's talking about
what I hear when I hear build the wall?
What?
I hear cutting a check for $11 billion that we can't pay for to some non-military contractor.
It's a jobs program.
To rip us off in a different way.
It's a jobs program is what it is, so they can point at it. No, my governor is now talking about building a wall between New Mexico and Texas. You know, because
it's a method of enriching the rich. That's what it is.
Is it any different? You hear me all the time talk about our defense budget. Yep. What we spend on our defense, $800 and something billion a year.
More than that, because you're not counting the interest that we have to pay for the overspend on the military for the past 40 years.
And we do every damn year. Every damn year. And you've heard me talk about my thoughts on this. You could cut the damn budget in half and still have a very powerful military. You just cut out all the grift that's going on.
It's never enough. And when you call them out, they say things like, well, what's the matter? You against the military? I'm like, I'm not against the military.
No.
I'm against the military that costs 10 times more than is necessary and is worth. If you really think that we have achieved a place in the world where we have to have a 1 million man standing army, then, show me the evidence that will help. And I'll be right there. And then they say things like, oh, they're moving a carrier strike force to the Mediterranean. What the fuck difference does that make?
Mitch, am I not mistaken, in Israel, everybody serves?
Everybody serves.
Everybody serves.
Very, very few.
A whole country, and they don't have enough to stop this.
At the age of 18 for 2 years, I think.
Correct.
That's correct.
Everybody. You think that would go over here in the United States? I don't think so, baby.
Don't ask me, dude. I serve my country.
I did
you don't
too.
Have to ask me.
You don't have to ask. We stepped up, brother. We stepped up, and I remind people all the time, at any given time through our history after World War II, 1% of this country serves this nation. So when you talk about veterans issues, you're talking about 1% of this population that stepped up.
Right.
That's
voluntarily stepped up. Nobody made me go in.
No.
You would think they did, but nobody did.
No. I went in with my chest held high, my head held high. But in boot camp, man, I came out of boot camp pumped up and ready to go. Yeah, and then you go out to the real world.
Boot camp, I could do 50 push-ups and 75 sit-ups.
Yeah, them days is over. Over. Hey, let me thank Keith Thompson, who came in with a $2 donation and said, 2,000 incoming rockets. That's war making.
Yeah.
Keith, thank you very much. I think you better increase that. I think they have it up to about 4,000 rockets that were fired into Israel now. And you just think of the suffering that went with every one of them. Well, 90% of them, I understand the way the news reports it, were taken down by Israel's Iron Dome, their anti-missile system. Thank goodness.
I see no reason to believe anything that any medium says, but yes.
Yeah. Well, that's where all news flows from, is our blessed news or outlets, and that's how come I always tell people, don't stick with one. Browse around and research everything that you can when you're looking at something. Try to get every angle that you can.
Let me tell you whose fault it isn't. Because I keep hearing the right wing saying how everything that goes wrong is Joe Biden's fault.
Of course.
And I'm sorry, this does not add up. And I hate to say it, but it has almost nothing to do with Trump.
Almost.
Very, very, very sketchy, indirect. This is a result of having a right-wing, authoritarian, theocratic government with another right-wing, authoritarian, theocratic government trying to assert itself in the same space. This has been going on for years. This is just the latest and greatest. Now, I need to understand, and I really don't get what, Hamas is basically begging for death at this point.
Yeah, what the hell?
And they're going to get it. Don't think they're not going to get it. They will.
You know something? And the problem with that is how Israel's going to play it. They're just going to kill everybody. And they're not going to kill Hamas. Hamas is not the majority of Palestinians.
And how do you distinguish one from, they blend
That's
in.
the problem.
Yeah,
Gee,
it's the population itself.
Like, hang on a second. You guys have to wear different color uniforms so we can tell you all
apart. They don't do that anymore. Wars are not fought in uniform anymore, baby.
Right?
Let me.
Part of me says, and I'll be frank with you. I'm frank with you. Part of me says, Hamas. If you're gonna want to try and win that war, you get to a point where you have to let it out. If they're at that point, then this is already the end of Hamas.
It
is.
is.
See what I'm saying?
And it very well may be. Again, because Netanyahu is a right-wing force over in Israel, he and again, using his own words, mighty vengeance. This is not going to be pretty. This is
let me tell
West
you,
Bank is
let
going
me
to be
tell you who I will
tough.
blame it on. I will blame it on the new party of Donald Trump, who, because of their antics, we do not have a full-time ambassador in the place in Jerusalem where we absolutely insisted that we had to have our ambassador sitting in Jerusalem. Guess who's there now? Nobody. Guess who's there? The American representative, the military representative of the Middle East. There isn't one. Guess why?
I'm waiting.
Tuberville.
Oh, Tommy Tuberville. Shit. Oh yeah. We're lucky to even have a chairman of the Joint Chiefs right now that was just confirmed by the Senate. Because if they hadn't,
what's the most important, John? Civics lesson. What's the most important job of the Speaker? That's a clue, by the way. Speaker of the House. What's his most important job, John Brideville?
I believe it's to bring legislation to the floor.
No.
No.
Good guess, though.
Well,
he's the Speaker of the House. You want to get a crack at it?
He's third in line to the presidency.
Don't you?
Well, that's not what he's getting at, though.
Yeah.
As Speaker of the House, he makes statements about our policies and our thoughts and feelings towards the world.
Correct, Chick. He is the voice
of America, of
the legislative branch of our federal government, and right now there's no one to do it. And Representative Jeffries, who I adore, is filling in his shoes because the Republican Party and their purposely are so fucked up that they can't, and they're going to put like an imbecile, like a foothead like Jim Jordan.
That there is a small push to get McCarthy reinstated. There's some that want to try to get McCarthy reinstated.
Imagine,
They fought that already
did you ever think
because
we
he
get
said he
to the
wouldn't
point
run.
where we would rather have McCarthy
Really?
over anybody?
That's
What
where
the
we're
fuck?
at right now. Do you see
That
anybody
is
stepping up there that you feel comfortable with? Jacking off, Jordan? Are you shitting me?
not at
Scalise?
all.
No.
Not at all.
Neither one of those people are fit to serve as speaker in my book. But that's who we're going to get. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I'm hoping something else happens. If they get to push for McCarthy, in my world, in my dreams, Hakeem Jeffries would become speaker. If we could
You're
get
not
some,
going to get 5
no,
Republicans. to
no, you're
switch
not going to
sides.
get any
That's not gonna
Republicans,
happen.
and that plays to what Mitch was talking about now. We don't have a government right now. What we have is a mishmash of bullshit that's been going on ever since the Republicans took the control of the House. What is their main goal? To get Biden on something. We got an impeachment going on. We're going to look into Hunter Biden. We're going to do something here.
It's all about the chaos,
It
brother.
My
is.
descriptive term would have been a cesspool.
It is not about legislation. It's not about making things better for this country. It's about keeping their ass in power. And
Correct.
sometimes I think that goes to both sides of the fence. And
Yes.
as a matter of fact,
Of
it
course it
does
does.
go by both sides. And we can see that in Menendez right now up in New
Of course
Jersey.
it does.
Come on.
But you know what? Menendez,
Never liked
at least the Democrats are being honest.
At least we're standing up and telling them.
Those in New Jersey, because Menendez has less than 5% of the votes going on in New Jersey. This was a man who was elected the last time after he got indicted. He was
Right.
elected back into office.
Yes.
They ain't playing this shit this time.
No, I don't think so.
And that's
The evidence
that's
is just
saying,
too much.
yeah, I'm woke. I'm woke to what the fuck you're up to, because
Yeah.
I'm still looking
We
for
stand
the
up against
gold
it. It
bars
doesn't matter
underneath
what
my
side
bed.
of that line it's on. You have to stand up for it. We have to return some kind of integrity to our house.
No, you either stand for justice for all, no one is above the law, or you don't.
Basically, that's it. They don't.
There's no riding
They
the
don't.
fence on that shit.
No, and they don't. They put Donnie above the law. Let me send out a few thank yous here before we get far behind. 7 minutes ago, Bob K. came in with a $5 donation and said Israel is a well-armed, advanced country with nuclear capabilities that was just given a reason to go and stomp the Hamas area into a blasted wasteland. And that's what he's going to do. It is going to
And
the human
and
suffering that
should
we're going to see.
happen, what happens to the innocent Palestinian people who are not part of Hamas?
The
who
same
are
thing
not
that happened to the
terrorist
innocent
people?
Israeli people when Hamas came over
You're
that border.
right, John.
There is no,
You're right.
death has no discrimination,
but,
baby.
but that doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't.
None of it is
never
right.
has. War ain't good for shit. It's there to kill people. That's what war is. We can kill more of your people than you can kill of ours. It just depends on who's in the fight. Let me thank Miss Scorp, AZ, Arizona, donated $2 and said, our military is being used to train extremism now. She's I can't argue with some comments. Allie McCat came in with a $2 donation and said, can't fix stupid or Republicans. I think that's what you meant, Republicans or reps. So either way, we're having trouble. We're having trouble in our own backyard, and we can't get our shit together. And here we are, a major player on the world stage, no matter where you go. We are the biggest player on the world stage.
Well, right now, though, if you spin the globe and stab your finger, you're probably going to hit some kind of war of some type.
Well, it's the most profitable industry in the world. Of course you're going to hit it.
We were warned about it, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
By who?
By
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower. Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, when he told you, the military-industrial complex.
He was deeply concerned, and so was Winston Churchill, although he was much less public about it.
Because look at the money.
Number one, that atomic energy would be misused, which it has.
Indeed.
And that just this whole idea of building up industry for the sole purpose of executing war. You got to remember how it used to be, right? you had a standing army, a peacetime army, like when you and I were in.
Right.
And
For the most part.
when things started going to shit, you had a draft, and you filled up, and you built your way back towards a wartime. This is historically how it's always been.
Always been.
You also always had the reserves military, which comprise another approximately 1% of the population that are in some way involved with one of the reserve units, right?
Right.
And yeah, you only spooled up the wartime effort when you needed to. So you went to the factory and you said, okay, guys, remember how you were making cans for potatoes? Well, now you're going to be making bullets.
Yeah.
And that whole model, the industrialization of militarism, was co-opted as the primary form of industrialization.
Primary reason for war.
There you go.
You need
And
more money.
it basically it gives America particularly a license to have a wartime army all the time, and China, who by the way spends about 1/9 of what we spend.
They
I
don't
believe,
spend
something
hardly
like-
jack of what we spend on our military.
Yeah, they have 3 times as many people in their military.
That's how they play
Ain't
that.
that something?
That's something, ain't it?
And those are people in active military. They have of
They
their
have
population, approximately 4.5% of their population is either on active or reserve, and they have a much bigger population than we do.
So their numbers are bigger. It's
So
a dangerous
explain
world
that
we
away.
live in, baby. The whole
Well-
game we play now is just deterrent. That our guns are big as yours. We got just as big as bombs as yours. If you start
Well,
throwing them around, we're going to start throwing them
and
around.
doesn't
And
that-
that's the way it used to work.
So, but how do you then explain all the jets that are parked out and icebox on all those airfields in Nevada and shit?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
big,
why?
this is how
We're gonna sell
you
'em.
explain it. We're
Get
gonna make more. We're gonna make newer jets. It's going
Right.
to cost more money. We will
course.
sell that
That's right.
shit somewhere else. It's all about making the money. It's the industrial complex, the military industrial complex. It doesn't matter who's fucking throwing the bombs. We're
Here's
making
the
them.
deal. Tanks are becoming.
Excuse me. I'm gonna go silent. I'm gonna say less. I'm gonna let y'all.
Tanks are getting not obsolete, but they are on a technical battlefield. Their target. It's not the advancement of weaponry that's going to be in the future, but yet we keep cranking them out, baby. Same way with helicopters, with Humvees, anything. We keep cranking them out all the time, and as Mitch suggests, you can go and look on Google for aerial photographs of where they park massive amounts of planes or tanks or Humvees, just acres and acres and acres of them, stacked up, baby. And it's like a car lot. You're waiting on something to happen that we can sell those to somebody else. And the big push, the budget that they're talking about, if I can keep my thoughts straight here, with the aid going to Ukraine, when they toss numbers around, that's not dollars we're giving them. That's all that shit parked out there on them ramps. That's that military hardware.
Perfectly good example, right? I've always been a big fan of fighter jets because they're fighter jets, right?
What's not cool about them?
F-16, it was always my favorite one because I was a kid when the F-16 came out. Still manufactured, by the way. When the F-16 came out, the deployment cost for an F-16 was about $18 million. And this is in 1980 something dollars, right? And it has a cost to fly per hour of about $12,000. Okay?
Yeah.
The F-22 is $125 million an airplane.
There's a price increase there.
And it costs $61,000 an hour
What's
to
money?
operate.
What's money? We can just print some more up. Don't worry.
5 times the cost.
I have a
And you
question.
might say, oh, Well,
And I just saw a comment going by saying the F-35 was a mistake. Yeah.
Hello,
oh my God,
hello.
yeah.
We just had a pilot bail out of one of those F-35. That
That's right.
fucker flew for
Yeah.
2 hours before it
Before it-
went down. And then they asked the public, where did it go down? Huh?
Couldn't find it?
They
they found
eventually
it.
found it after
They
it
found
hit
it.
the ground and people started reporting about it. But for
Yeah.
2.5 hours, that fucker flew around. They didn't know where the fuck
Don't
it was.
worry. I think they're working on the F-70 or F-950. There's
That's good
always a
because we
plan in the
haven't
works,
perfected
baby.
the 35 yet.
But yeah, we
But
won't pay for it.
the problem,
That's
John.
part of that
That's the
deficit.
problem.
It
This
is
is
the
where the
problem.
money goes, and then they're wasted like this, or just sold off as surplus to. It doesn't matter who the fuck wants to buy it at that point. We'll just sell
Well,
it because we
there's
need to
the
make
problem.
the money back.
They're not really buying it. We're not getting paid for it. We are supporting the war effort. That's our input into the Ukraine war. It is the weapons, the munitions, and the training.
Ukraine is not going to see near F-35.
Ukraine isn't going to see half
Not
of
a
what
one.
Israel's fixing to see. There's
Well, that's only because Ukraine is not a part of NATO right now, and so why should we?
I just think this brings up a quandary for the Republicans. Because the Republicans are going to jump on board with defending Israel to the death, baby. And that's the way it's going to be here. Don't doubt that. The United States will stand with Israel no matter what. And because of what? The Republicans would tell you for freedom and liberty for Israel. To guarantee Israel's right to exist.
Because of money.
There you go. Why is that any different than Ukraine?
Because Israel
and how
is
can
over
you
there where
support
all
one
the oil
if you're not willing to support the other? There's my problem. Is watching these Republicans stand up and hee-haw around about, well, I don't know if we're going to support the Ukrainians. Kiss my ass. You're in this shit. We got into this shit for a damn good reason. Because he ain't going to stop there. He's going to go elsewhere. And then what? But in the vast scheme of my mind, it's like, fuck. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, it has to do, my mind has to do with a conversation that was held here in my house because my wife read a story and then, well, of course you read a story and you have to go, what? Yep, that's what it says. Well, then you go Google the story and then you find out shit you don't want to know. And in this case, please help me, Mitch, if you know anything about this. The Red Heifer. Has anybody ever heard of the Red Heifer? I don't see
No.
Mitch's. It's in Numbers. It's in the Bible. And it is, as best as I can describe it, is when a red heifer is born without defect, without any blemish, and it is born in Israel, it will signal the end of times. Now, I am sure I am way off on this story because, but
Here
I
we
did
go with the
Google it.
prophecies
All you have to
again.
do is Google the Red Heifer, and you'll come up with, I think it's Numbers 17 verse 2 or something like that. I can't remember exactly what, but
If that's New Testament, then Mitch wouldn't know that.
no, I think it's the Old. Is it Numbers in the Old Testament? Numbers
Don't know.
is Exodus.
Not a Bible person.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. As a matter of fact, I try to stay away from it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for my peace of mind sometimes. But anyway, that story came up because Marcia saw a story in there about a red heifer that was born in Israel, and immediately I'm thinking, well, that's a headline right out of the Inquirer.
It sounds like QAnon.
Well, the evangelists in this country want
if there's some way they can capitalize on it, oh yes, they will.
Christ and all the rest of that, So this is part of the plan for them, and they're going to support it 100% because end of days, end of times is here. Oh, wait for the preacher on the corner on that
haven't
one.
we
Okay.
seen that sign? Mitch, have you ever heard of that?
I was in the kitchen. I'm sorry, I missed whatever you just said. So
Marcia had read a story on,
yeah.
I think it was on Facebook, so, right there, uh, and it
Yeah.
said something about the red heifer. When the red heifer is born.
Ah, the red heifer.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's
What about it?
well, evidently one was born in Israel, and we're all gonna die.
Purportedly.
There's been a red heifer born in Israel like every year, and then here's the problem with the red heifer.
What?
Okay. If it has one white hair, it's invalid.
Right. Right. This is without blemish, without fault. Anything has to be pure.
Making Mofongo say this.
Now?
So.
Making Mofongo now?
But now that story stems a conversation amongst people around the world, around Facebook anyway, I guess, or the internet. The red heifer's here, and it's the end of times. Really? I don't know.
I
It
love
seems to me I've driven down the road and seen lots of them.
Fun.
Right? Am I joking? Every year someone claims the red heifer is born.
It's not the red heifer, so.
I had never
here's the
heard of it
problem.
before.
Okay, let's backtrack. I'll lay a little Judaism on
Okay,
you, okay?
please do.
Even if the red heifer were born and was legit,
Right.
nobody has the authority to sacrifice it, which is basically the purpose of the whole red heifer.
That's right. They would have to
sacrifice
sacrifice.
it. Hang on.
Okay.
Burn it. And put the ashes in water to use to sprinkle on the altar to purify it.
All of that?
Oh, how
Right.
elaborate.
Now,
Okay. Wait, there's more.
here's the problem. We don't have a temple. We don't have a temple, okay?
We don't have
You
to.
can only do the sacrifice at the altar in the temple. It's the only place it's allowed to be done. When we were exiled from Jerusalem and the second temple was destroyed, that's it. We didn't do any more sacrificing. You see.
Right. I'm
So
trying
I
to follow
consider the red heifer to be irrelevant
a red herring.
because we
per
do
se.
not have an active priesthood. We don't have a king.
Yeah.
Who would be the high priest? How would you pick who I mean, it's absurd. It's absurd. Face
I
value.
thought so too. Hence, I said looks like it came right off the headlines of the National Enquirer.
And there's absolutely nothing to indicate that it would be the quote end of the world, because they would have to get this red heifer periodically to keep the holiness of the temple and keep its purity.
So there'd have to be more red heifers, pure.
Sure.
Unblemished.
Well, they had a lot of heifers back then.
Yeah, a lot of them. No problem.
I'm
Stack 'em
sure
up.
they have a lot now, but
When
wouldn't
I was
matter.
a little girl, and I had a hell of a lot more red hair than I have gray hair now. They used to call me a red heifer all the time. I was
Is
just
that
like,
right?
"Oh."
Is that
Okay.
right, Bernie?
I'm just saying, yeah, I've heard that term.
hey, I'm going to say thanks for calling today, John. Sorry I missed you, but I'm glad I caught up with you here. I'm going to dive off as we're having a little late dinner tonight, so I'm going to zip
Okay.
off and send everybody my love, and be strong. Click that like button. Subscribe if you aren't some kind of
Yeah.
unpleasant person.
Really?
And
wanna do that.
tell your friends about the Blue Dot family. Tell your friends who you think would like this, and then suggest it to some that you don't. See
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah,
What's
see
the
what
worst
happens.
that
Are
can
they going to punch you or say thank you? One of the two. Take a chance in life.
happen? What's
Come
going to
on.
punch you in the face
Mitch,
over this? Come
the
on.
reason I called you today was to let you know I love you,
Oh.
brother. Julie, I love you.
Dude,
Y'all take
you
care
are
of yourself.
You and everyone, every Blue Dot is my brother.
Outstanding.
And you more especially, because you and I have,
Oh, we shook
hang
hands.
out,
We've shook
But
hands.
thanks, everybody. Good to see you all. Take care.
Outstanding. Oh, Michael Johnson, where are you? I didn't see him. I always enjoyed talking to Mitch Goldstein because it seems like no matter what, I always learn something. Where'd he go? Now I can't see shit.
He's He's not down there right now.
Uh-oh. What happened? Oh,
But
I
James
see two
Price
now.
said
That's
when you were talking about the red heifer and what they had to do to it,
right.
he said he liked his well done, but not ashes.
Not ashes. No, it's overdone. You keep them, you know, you can barbecue, but come on. Let me see.
Yeah.
Who jumped in? Dave.
Yes,
Dave,
sir.
how are you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, John?
I'm hanging in there, brother, every day. There he is.
Good. Yeah. Hey,
Like a hair in a
how you
biscuit,
doing
as
down
Andy
there in
Paguda would
Texas?
say.
Go
Huh?
ahead, Dave.
How are you doing down there in Texas? How's the heat?
Much
Haven't
better.
worked down
No, the
there.
heat went away. I woke up this morning. It was 61 degrees here. Ooh,
Yay.
Oh.
it's winter. That's
Yeah.
winter. That's
Oh,
winter here.
So the Cowboys gonna win this year?
I did. I have not seen the game. Watching the game. Don't know what's happening at the game. Try to keep the game out of my head. Thanks for putting it right back in there. Appreciate that, Dave. What's the fucking score now? God damn it! Now I have to know. Anybody know? Somebody can check.
No, I have no clue.
I
KY.
don't sports ball.
That's sports ball. KY,
Oh, what's going on, brother?
how you doing? First off, let me thank you for the $2 that you just sent in to let me know my hand was up. And oh well, fuck Trump, fuck Abbott, and fuck DeSantis. So thank you, brother.
I just wanted to say my part about Netanyahu. I was listening to the Chiefs beat the Vikings. That's kind of sacrilegious to jump out of that. But Netanyahu and everybody that's going against that son of a bitch, he's a authoritarian just like Trump.
Netanyahu?
All these secrets
Netanyahu is far right in
Yeah.
Israel, just like the far right we have here.
He wants to be
Extreme
a dictator. That's exactly what he wants to be. We've known that for quite some time. But some of the people that don't know that, we're old soldiers. We know what that son of a bitch was when he got in there to Israel. We send so much damn money to Israel, but then
We
when
do.
Trump...
We do. We are tied to Israel, regardless of what happens. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what party is in power.
Even before this happened, we were tied into $3.8 billion a year since Obama.
Yes.
Since Obama.
Hamas is similar to the maggots on the other side to cause this stupidity that's happening over there. Palestinians shouldn't get blowed up because of Hamas,
Well,
because of a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, but the problem is Hamas is so intermixed within the population. You can't tell who's Hamas, who's not. That's
Yeah,
the biggest
yeah,
problem.
like
Like
the war.
Mitch was saying, nobody's wearing a uniform here. You know,
No.
no, you can't, determine who's who. And what do you
Yeah.
do in that situation? We know what you do. What's
We-
that old saying
well-
we used to have? Kill them all and let God sort them out. Wasn't that the saying?
That is exactly
That
what
is
we
exactly
used to
what it is.
say.
If you're in combat, you really don't give a fuck. Your main job is to stay alive. It's not to fight for your country or patriotic reason. Your ass is to stay a fucking alive. That's
You
it,
know,
baby.
the problem, the whole problem
Second
with
to
this
none.
this whole thing that's going on over in Israel was the fact that Israel was unprepared. They did not
They got
know
caught
that this
completely
shit was
off guard.
coming. They were
and
caught
They,
off guard.
they are comparing it to 9/11 here.
Yeah, well,
And the respect that they're talking about is it will not go back. Israel is going to change just like America changed after 9/11. This is the event that is going to change Israel into a more hard right turn.
Yep.
Probably will.
They tried to warn us about this about 2 or 3 days ago when the secrets was let out about the submarines and everything. It's
Yeah.
pretty much the same fucking shit. He gave them to the wrong people thinking he was going to
Yeah.
be a dictator. He was going to be this.
He
Well, when
still
it comes
wants to
to
be.
that-
He hasn't given up on that thought yet. He wants to be a dictator.
let's not forget who was in office first day that he got into office. That was Russia. Okay?
Yep.
Let's not
Yeah.
forget that. Let's not forget his first visit outside of this country was to Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah.
He had no intention
He went where the money was, where he knew the pockets were
anything
deep.
secret. of the United States. And why should we believe at this point in the game, way, way late in the game, that everything that he fucking took wasn't already given away? Wasn't given away prior to, while he was in office and after he left office. And
But
to
the
this
saddest thing
day,
about
the
this-
government doesn't want to give him those documents back because they can't trust who the fuck he's gonna tell.
That's right. And the saddest thing about this, this is not a fucking reality show. This is not a I want to be a Don Juan mafioso wannabe. This is
Yeah, well, one
people's
of
lives
those
that
one of those
serve.
secrets that he gave up in that first office visit was about Israel and who was
Sure it
spying
was.
over in Israel, and
his
the
first-
names were given out.
His first act, bringing the Russian ambassador
Thank you.
into the Oval Office, that had
Yes.
never been done before that. Not allowed in there, baby. That's
Without cameras, without anything.
So from
Yes,
day
I
one, this
Look,
fucker's been given up secrets, secrets
To
that
the
people die for.
all you have to do
Secrets
is
that
look
people are
at
in
what
jail for.
Trump has done. It did while he was in office, and you can plainly see he's smoothed up to Putin and Kim Jong-un, two of the biggest dictators in the freaking world, and he's smoozing up to their asses. We watch it. I lost my train of thought. Oh, boy, howdy shit, that went quick. That went real quick. I had a thought in my head. I was fixing to go right there.
He invited
Holy
the
shit.
Taliban to Camp David, my friend. He invited the Taliban to Camp David.
Yes,
That's
he
what
did.
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Plus, he also got busted with what was it?
On
Australia
September 11th,
business.
let's not
businessman?
forget that.
Well, he walked all around Europe kicking every NATO member in the shins. You remember the photograph of Angela Merkel standing up and getting in his face? That was NATO around his ass there. Donnie was
Exactly.
he was trying to tear NATO apart. For what?
And he
For
still
Putin.
is.
For the benefit of Putin. Donnie
Exactly.
Donnie wants a Trump Tower in Moscow real bad, real bad.
Yeah.
He almost
Well,
had one time and he backed out.
Well, he
Wouldn't let
doesn't
him have it.
have one in New York anymore.
Yeah, guess who doesn't have one?
You guys remember the old movie Salt with Angelina Jolie? She was the Russian
Yes.
agent who was trained,
Yeah.
and,
No,
and then she got triggered, and then all of a sudden,
didn't see it.
is Melania? Is Melania one of those?
I don't know. She just renegotiated her prenup.
She
with
sure
Donnie.
did.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, she'd
Couple
just
extra
leave his
zeros
ass
in
and
the
write a book. You know she'd get rich.
Good.
I'm
God.
sure there's so much dirt on her ass. Well, I don't know how it would hurt her. Anyway, whatever he has on her, I don't know. But
Whatever she has on him. She's saying, give me a couple extra million or I'm opening my mouth.
yeah, well,
Her leg.
no, it would be
You
her
know,
mouth that was damaged. She's already done the other part all over the place. You see all that all over the place.
There ain't no cash. They're living off
You want to
off
see
a
her
number.
ass? There's pictures, plenty of them.
Yeah.
Let me
That
quote
makes
my
no difference.
cousin from back in Kentucky. She's the prettiest first lady we ever had.
Don't you just
You
want
know,
to slap
I'll
people
tell ya.
like that? Just
I'll
shut
tell ya.
up. Go.
Slap the shit out of her.
Her mouth
No,
this
I-
week
I
and
don't-
all the holes.
Smack that last tooth in their
Who she
head.
was married to made her look ugly. I don't
Yes.
care how much pretty you try to put on that. I see who you're standing next to. That's ugly.
They don't see it.
You
they're-
sold your
they're-
soul for whatever
They're
reason.
indoctrinated. They're so indoctrinated. It's a shame.
Betty's right.
And just like
It needs
us.
to be
have to
called
put up-
treason
yeah.
for what it is.
I was in a room last night on TikTok Live. As a soldier, I had to go against some of these I want to be a soldier guys. And I just lit their ass up because I was invited by these guys. They're soldiers, and I was like, all right, they know I'm a soldier. And I'm like, I'm always a soldier. I'm an old fucking soldier, but fucking liberals, we own weapons too. And we ain't afraid of you. And if you want to start a civil war,
There's
you know
not
you're
going to be
going
one.
to
There's not going to be one, brother. We're not going to have a civil war. I don't give a shit how much right
That's
wing,
true. Yeah,
I went
it's
off
Wanted to
on some
talk
guys
that
from
shit.
Discord last night. I pulled that same shit on some Discord guys last night that were bolstering up this bullshit, and I said, you know what? Who is it that's coming for you? Well, the government, and there's this and the, you know, you can't get an
It's
answer out of who's
everybody.
coming
What
for
it
you.
is these assholes that talk this shit. And this is why I get concerned sometimes, is because they're not. When you talk Civil War, the right's going to rise up, and we're going to. Yeah, they're not. They're going to go shoot the guy down the street that they don't like. That's their
Right?
enemy. It's their fellow American that they don't like. I don't like that guy down there. He voted for the Obama. It said down there, and I'm going to go down there. That's the kind of shit that we do have to worry about.
Wait. Both y'all can't talk at the same time, okay?
That's the kind of shit that we have to worry about. I am not concerned with a civil war across this country where we have state against state. There are red dots and blue dots in every damn state. This is not a divided society. We are divided politically in the ideal realm. In the ideal realm.
I don't know any Republican, any of my friends up here, you know, that have gone that route of ideology that would go kill their freaking neighbor.
I wouldn't think of it. Can I speak for everybody I know around this area? No. No, I can't. And that's the scary part of this shit, is no, we're not going to see an uprising, an armed, organized civil war. Are we going to have to worry about outbreaks of violence around this country? Yes, we will. If he keeps pushing this shit, if he keeps talking about poisoning the blood of America and shit like that, throwing dog whistles out there, trying to get Joe Blow out there in the middle of butt fuck Egypt or wherever the fuck he is to get all upset and to take action. That's what he was told. That's what he was hoping to do when he was talking about Milley should be shot and should be executed for treason for what Milley did. He's hoping somebody will take up that thought in their head. That's dangerous shit, because there's a lot of people in this country that are stupid enough to take an action on that kind of shit.
Because they didn't kiss his ring or his feet or his ass or, what a piece of shit. We seen this play out before in the 40s.
They lose sight of what patriotism means. And there's too many people in this damn country who think patriotism is just waving a fucking flag. It's a piece of fucking cloth. It means nothing except what you believe in it. That's the only thing that flag means, is what you put into it. You know? It's a piece of cloth. It's a piece of cloth, but men have died for that. Huh?
When George W. Bush was in there, I quit saluting the flag.
I never had.
I was like,
I won't let somebody.
Well, I had to in the military, but that was just how it was.
We were all, anybody that's been through in military, and especially anywhere around the conflict, you get conflicted in your mind as to what you were taught and what you know. What you were taught and what you see. It's not cut and dry. Like I said, you ask most veterans that have gone into a war zone, their number one job isn't to patriotic carry the flag over the hill and sing songs. No, it's to keep your fucking ass and your buddy's ass alive. As it would be anywhere, in any situation. It's self-preservation, except you're in an area where everybody wants to shoot your ass.
That's
It makes me want to cry, Mike. It makes me want to cry hearing that. Honestly, I've heard so many people. I've heard so many former service members say that, and you know, I broke both my.
It's the truth. I mean, you go. Your unit is your life. Those guys around you, that's your life. That's your world, baby. And people are trying to kill your ass. You better rely on the guy next to you.
Well,
That's what my dad taught me.
Right before I was going to, and I wish I could have done it. There's no way you can't go to boot camp with two broken shoulders. But we've talked about it, as a Boy Scout, as a civic, person that cares about everybody. Republican, Democrat, we make no affiliation. The problem with the other side is the indoctrination, like you were talking about. I'm watching here just this morning talking about Israel. We've got all these prophets now saying that last week there was a couple of rats that went up on one of the stairs at the temple or something, and that's a sign, I guess, from God. Oh, there was a fox. Yeah, fox came in too. There's a fox that was at the temple as well. Yeah,
everything's a sign. If you're looking for a sign, anything's a sign. If you're
Goodness
looking for a
gracious.
reason to
I
do
mean,
something, you'll
come on.
find the sign that tells you, oh, yep, that's it. You know,
Hey,
And even
did anybody
speedways,
turn into a zombie?
hey,
Did anybody
I
turn
felt a
into a
twinge.
zombie?
I felt a twinge. I did.
You felt the
I
twitch?
looked over
Okay,
at my
okay.
wife and
I
I said,
wasn't
you
the
got a
only one.
brain in there, don't you?
well, it turned me
Okay.
gay.
All right.
So,
Good.
Good. Little humor in there to get us off that. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Dave. That's
Alarm
a
went off on
fact.
my phone and I felt a tingling in my arm. I don't know what happened.
well, I'm gonna vote for a Republican for the first time in my life this year, you guys. Here in about a month.
Oh, shit.
And then it got quiet. Pray tell, what Republican is that?
So it's a city councilman here up in
Okay.
Kootenai County, North Idaho. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is in Kootenai County, right next
Right.
to Spokane.
Oh,
You know,
God.
it's in Lake Idaho. That's the look it up. So Dan Gookin, great man. I've been watching his stuff. We've got the North Idaho College here based in town, and just an amazing place where the kids in high school can graduate with honors and associate's degrees and bachelor's degrees as seniors in high school with the co-enrollment, dual enrollment programs.
Right.
Great for outsourcing of tech type of stuff at the Workforce Training Center, where you could take anything from QuickBooks and accounting to business management,
Right.
and the
Business
carpenters
courses.
class. Training kids to be carpenters, training kids to be auto techs.
And
All
this
thing
is
at all?
this.
An
This
amazing community program, and this Kootenai County Republican Central Committee. Now most states have adopted this Republican Central Committee theme, and we're going to vet every person that goes into office, and even for unaffiliated, no Democrat, no Republican, you're running for whatever city council or school boards and dog catchers, where you don't tell people you're Democratic, Republican, whatever. It's just a position, but it's an elected position. These guys, they've gone so far as to vet people that have already been vetted through. So everybody that's getting pushed into office in Idaho now is just extremely, extremely far right. The Ada County, Boise is in Ada County. Ada County just, I think 17 of them just resigned because of all. Okay, we're talking Democrats and Republicans that resigned elected office because of 3 people that are trying to run the entire state.
and those 3
And
people.
the prophecy. We have to use the red letters of the Bible against our fellow Americans, because they're not talking about the red letters in the Bible when they're talking about they, them. They're coming for us. They're going to replace us. It's the great replacement theory. It's the same shit that Reverend Butler taught up here to the white nationalists in the 90s. They're coming for us. Did you see the 1-minute short that somebody, I think Midas, put it together, of all the comparisons of the language that's being used with MTG, Donnie, and Nazis?
The language, the verbiage they do. That's when Donnie's came out with his poisoning of American blood. That's right out of 1930s Hitler.
Yes, with the red cow, with the red heifer, is in all of the hardcore right-wing stuff right now, John. It's right here.
I went to looking at that, and I just, I get lost in that shit because I immediately call bullshit. The red heifer or whatever magical sign comes from God that signifies this, that, or the other. I just take as a whole pile of kitty litter.
It's the unicorn that farts fucking Skittles. What the fuck?
I can't go that, and I'm honest with people. I am I'm not agnostic. I am an atheist. I do not believe in a powerful being.
Yes,
if he does exist, and as I've always said, I'll give him one fucking chance to get on his fucking knees and ask for my forgiveness, because he damn sure needs to. But I can't go there. I prefer to put my faith in humanity itself. And I know this is a bad time to bring that up. Look what humanity's doing right now. It's hard to have faith in it.
What Putin done to Ukraine? All the grandmas, all them little kids. Oh, let's just let that just
Same
go
thing's
by.
happening in Israel right now.
He's
Terror
a black.
doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care how old you are, what gender you are, or who the fuck you are. You know,
I'll tell you why we're on Israel.
the sad story
There's only
that I
one
read
reason.
today was how there was a video. I did not see it. Don't wish to. It was described in the news. A video of a woman being strapped up in a truck, being paraded around Gaza. She was only wearing her underwear, and she was unconscious, and her legs were in awkward positions.
When you're dealing
She
with
was
Christians,
identified by her mother. She is a tattoo artist in a German Israeli tattoo artist who was at that festival, the music festival, the Peace Festival.
Yeah.
And that's how her mother saw her and recognized her from the tattoos on her body. That it just the inhumanity.
John, the
that we are
humanity
able to.
and the whole thing that I look at it like is what kills me about all these things that are happening. It's the fear factor that both sides of the party somewhat coddle, but the fucking Republicans coddle it more because they want everybody scared of those other people.
Well, it's always
Oh
the
my
other people.
God, Israel's our best. We got the best of the best. Bullshit. And you talk to a veteran our age, and we'll call bullshit on it. And the saddest part about that, nobody fucking studies civics. Nobody studies history. Nobody even
they're burning
studies
books nowadays, buddy.
nothing.
Right, study shit.
Yeah,
We'll tell you what to believe.
We don't want to know that.
The fear right now, and not the challenge here in the United States right now, I feel, is a Republican Party that has totally lost its freaking mind, has gone off the deep end, and has
But
nothing.
there are the good ones. There are good ones, and we got to recognize them. And you know what? I'm going to vote for a Republican here in about a month. I'm telling you, it's going to be the craziest experience of my life.
It used to
This
be
guy-
that the difference between a Republican and a Democrat was not that drastic. And a while back ago, I always say we didn't give a shit what your neighbor was. You didn't give a shit if he's Democrat, Republican, Independent, or whatever. You talked a little politics every once in a while in general, but it wasn't our lives. But now it has become our lives, because at some point, in my opinion, the Republican Party did indeed go off the deep end. Are there good Republicans? Yes. There are moderate Republicans that we need to learn well, we don't need to learn. We know how to work with. And there are people within our house that are trying to do that. But when the radicals take over in the form of Matt Gaetz and others, it's hard to, the party itself has drifted so far off.
Breathing his last breath.
What Midas Touch showed in the last couple of days was all these people that they're getting on their little soapbox and finding out that a lot of these Republicans, when MAGA took over, they stopped. They are independent and they will vote Democrat.
The Republican Party itself has declined in numbers.
Record numbers.
Yes, when you're looking at the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, they're not evenly split on who belongs where. The numbers. It's heavily Democratic. There are more Democrat people and independent in this country than there are Republicans.
Republicans are pretty good about unaliving their own.
Republicans do well in rural areas. It's easier to control a message in a rural area. That's how come, I don't care where you live, most cities are blue. Here in Texas, we are a heavily red state. Pink now, pink. But our cities, no, except for Dallas. Dallas is a little more heavily red. But you look at Austin, San Antonio, Houston, Corpus, Brownsville, these are blue cities. El Paso, they're blue. That's where the population is.
I was thinking about the ones that took the virus and went for a minute compared to the ones that are under the ground talking.
Oh, the signal.
Somebody else.
The signal
Had to wait for that sneeze.
COVID.
They even lost their
COVID.
own family
COVID.
members. They only
There you go.
lost
St.
their
Louis is blue. You know,
Yep. St. Louis,
wherever you
Kansas
find a
City,
heavily populated
Florida.
area, you're going to find Democrats because you are put in a situation within a city that you have to work with people that they belong to another party or something. You got to come together and get your job done.
Speaking of rural, I got rural folks up here listening to AM Christian radio talking about Russia's got troops in Canada ready to help Trump take over America.
Oh my God.
Isn't that helpful?
Yeah, I don't doubt
Stories
it.
like that, that's helpful.
And I'm going, okay, so
Yeah.
let's just get this straight. So Russian
Yeah,
troops are
Russian
in
troops.
Canada.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they're hiding in
nobody's
the bushes.
reporting it, but they're there, and they're ready to come in and help Trump because we want to stop Trump from doing what? From taking over? So he's just going to take over anyways? Is that the logic?
I
The
can't
logic of
follow
this
the
shit
logic
comes-
on some of this shit.
AM radio
There is no logic.
But
is
you know,
ruining
I
America.
always say Trump is not running for election. He's running to
No.
raise an army. He wants enough people to come to his aid, regardless of what the 2024 vote is. He can say
The
he
man
won.
was raised by a narcissistic sociopath that had disdain for military members and any public servant, and was raised by a paranoid schizophrenic for a mother who had multiple personalities. Okay,
What could
this
go
man
wrong?
wants to be king. Yeah, this is
What could go wrong?
a Stephen King horror book. I mean,
It is, but and the part that scares me is again looking at his poll numbers within the Republican Party, and I always preface this by saying, A, when they're talking about, oh, he's got 60% of the Republican Party has shrunk. Those that still support him are a very small minority of our population.
That's right.
But don't discount the Electoral College. So it's
well, and
a
I've got
state
one
by
good
state.
Republican city councilman that's calling these guys out, and he's calling them out
Good.
in
Good.
open chambers. That if you are not going to denounce this, then you are one, and they're getting offended. And he says,
And
you know
that's
what?
how come I
If
say
you
there are good Republicans out
for
there.
you.
That we
Exactly.
can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Ain't that the whole thing that they used to say?
Exactly.
You know,
And-
we can't take the far left and throw them out of our party. You know,
It's just so hard to find the good ones in the party and the good ones that are speaking out, you know. And I'm all in. I'm all in for this guy.
Well,
I had,
you know, we have to
he was
come back to the middle of the stage, in the middle of, of where, because that's what our democracy demands, is that the majority rule, that the people's voice is heard, and not, you know. But nowadays, you know,
That's not
I
what's
get-
happening.
I get
The
so
minority is ruling,
it
and
is
that's
right now.
that is because of the way that our legislature is set up. The South lost the war, but you know what? You ask me, the Civil War never really ended for some people in this country. It goes on until this day. Until this
I
day.
won't argue that point.
Because of Republican policy and the shit that they've put in place since they've been in government. Now,
It's still Jim Crow.
We
Still
can
Jim
see
Crow.
the return, the U-turn,
No.
or whatever turn you want to call it, that we know exactly when this happened. We can put our finger on the freaking day it happened, and that was the day Obama was elected. That
You
was
know
the
it,
day
Robert.
that the cockroaches started
long
coming
before
out of.
then.
Well, no, it has always been there, Bernadette.
During the
Indeed,
campaign.
Yes.
but we
Yes.
had you know, chased them under a rock as best way I can explain it. They weren't
But
gone.
that's the thing,
They
John.
are built
That's
in
the
our
fucking
society.
illusion.
But
That's the fucking
this-
illusion. Is
Yeah.
that they were chased under a rock, and that all of society was at peace because they were under a rock. You know, they
Well,
were
they
under
went
a
from
rock,
meeting in Bubba's
plotting-
garage to meeting in Bubba's backyard.
plotting and
That's-
planning their return that never really fucking ended. There are still policies on our books that allow the minority in this country to stay in rule the way that they have. And we are talking the electoral college.
There you go.
We are the very way we go about electing a president. the fact that this man who is so egregious to every cell in my fucking body that can run for president and is allowed to continue to do so in a very detrimental and public way in this country is just astounding to me.
Freedom,
that this
baby.
can happen.
Freedom.
He has showed us every way that our Constitution is fucking broken.
Yep.
It's broken.
Bernadette,
that's why we have amendments, dear.
About that.
That's why
And
we
I'll
have
tell you-
amendments to that Constitution.
but
And
Because
when's
it's a
the
living
last
document.
time that we've
This
had
time-
an amendment to the Constitution? And how has it been brought forth? It hasn't. In fact, just last year, they took away rights that people had in this country for over 50 fucking years. They took
Yep.
that shit
Reverse
away
row.
and said, hey, you know what? Fuck you. We don't care.
That's just the first step.
A lot of this shit started with Reagan, and you can kiss my ass
It
if you
started
don't
before
fucking
Reagan.
It's you know,
Ronald Reagan started this bullshit.
He allowed
they
Newt
think
Gingrich.
he was the
Reagan
Reagan.
was the turn that I remember in my life. That I saw what Reagan did when he came in with his trickle-down economics and swinging this
Yeah.
patriot shit all over the place.
It's
It
how
cha-
about
you know,
how about Nixon
war
and
on
his
drugs.
Southern strategy?
Yes, the war on drugs. That wasn't war on
No.
white people.
no, it was a war on
the
black
black.
people. That's what the
Oh,
war on drugs is.
brown
You know, it's
people.
always been a
People
war
of
against.
color.
The
Yes.
Southern strategy bred Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich started all this shit with the, you know, the
I
opposition
am
party.
impressed with y'all's.
We will not commit to support anything Obama does before he was even elected. We will make
That's what I'm
sure
saying.
that appointment
You
do
can
not
Yes,
see
get
the
McConnell.
swing in the
Problem is,
Republican Party
The
right
problem
after
is
Obama was
that
elected.
all of it still stands until this day, and that's
does.
not going to be changed.
It-
And I think
anytime
we're seeing the
soon.
I don't
last
think it's
dying
going to
breath
be
of
changed in our lifetime, and I'm including everybody who's
exactly.
listening. This fight that
Exactly.
goes on, this we the people, this Constitution, this whole democracy, only lives because we participate in it. If we don't participate in it, it becomes something else, and that's exactly what the Republican Party wants to do. They want to move it from a democracy to something else. And that something else ends up being authoritarianism. It's going to be the same. You let Trump in here, we're going to have an oligarch society. Just like Russia does, baby. There's going to be rich people that's in charge of
We
certain
already,
segments. And
we
don't worry,
already
drink your
have an
vodka.
oligarch society
We-
going on,
In
John.
a perspective,
It's
we
called
do.
corporate America.
I won't argue that.
When corporate America has its very large tendril fingers stuck into our politics the way that it is stuck into our politics today, it is not going
I
to change.
say
There
it
was
all
a
the
reason-
time, baby. You
there
think
was a
that's...
reason why corporations were not mentioned in the Constitution, because they
They
thought
did.
the states would handle it. And look at what has happened. Corporate America has their fingers so far stuck up political asses all around this fucking country, we can't do anything fucking about it.
I say
For
it
the
all the
first
time.
in Clarence
You know,
Thomas's history of being on the court, he sat his ass down and recused his ass from being in a judgment of this fucker Eastman's fucking bid to, you know, get to the Supreme Court and not have his email read. Why? Because Eastman used to be his he was a clerk. He was a clerk for Thomas's ass. He was a clerk for Thomas.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's so far down. I think you guys were seeing the last dying breath of a dying rat right now. And
No,
Come
it's
Only if we
not
let
at
it
all.
die.
Not at all.
We
I-
ain't gonna.
That's you know this is true. What Bernadette was saying. This
it is.
this country is now set up not so much to support our population, our citizenry, to lift all boats. I think that went out the window a long time ago. And again, I point to Reagan. When the big shift, when rich people used to pay a tax rate of 70-80%, Now we're fighting if they pay any tax at all. And we see the result of that. They have gotten mega wealthy, billionaires in this country. And they pay an effective tax rate less than a working man down here on the street who has to pay rent and electricity and food and every fucking thing else.
Yep. I've been using your line, John. I stole that line from you.
Good. Use it.
No.
Poor, hungry, and needing a job. That's what they want in this country. You keep a population that is more concerned about keeping the lights on in his house. He hasn't got time to worry about the politics of what's going on in the house, what contracts are being awarded to what company. He ain't got time for that. He's got to pay the rent. And it's due every fucking month.
We were going to be millionaires. All of us were promised when we were growing up that we were going to be millionaires.
Life would be a rose. It's going to be unicorns and rainbows.
You work hard.
You work hard. Well, guess what? A lot of us worked hard. Am I where I thought I was going to be when I was damn near 71 years old now? No. Nowhere. The only reason I survived is that right there. That's how I'm surviving now. That donation, that $1.99 that just came in, that's how I'm making it right now. Yeah, this is not what I planned on. Are you sure? No, it's
No.
It's. Let me send out a couple thank yous because I mean them. Every time I do this, it is heartfelt. I want every one of you to know it. John Cass came in with a $10 donation and said, "We must defeat Trump. Vote blue." Indeed, John. And Dragon with a girl I like that. Dragon with a girl tattoo. I like it. Came in with $2 and said, "Trump for prison." It's if in a just world, that's where he would be. If we lived by the ideals that we've been taught all our life, he would be in prison. If we held up to the laws that we passed, he would be in prison. But guess what? We have something in this country called lawyers. And he knows how to use them. And we watched this man get away with so much, damage this country to such a degree that it's hard to even recognize your neighbors. I've lived in this spot for over 20 years. This is not the street I moved into. These aren't the people that I knew 10 years ago. There's somebody else, and I don't know them anymore. Boy, those memory things come up on your Facebook page. 9 years ago. 9 years ago. This killed my wife. There's a picture we shared 9 years ago of the first cousins reunion, which is something my wife's family used to do a lot. And there's all the first cousins. There's like, I don't know, 13, 14 of them. Most of them up in their age. We don't go to those anymore. We're not invited.
Like I say, that's part of the whole fascist takeover is divide and conquer. But to divide and conquer, you start with splintering the divided.
To the core. To the core.
And then, exactly, and then everybody is so factionless.
When it hits your family, when it affects you, then they've accomplished what they set out to do. To turn that into a political tool.
We were talking about that last week. We got this public parks, that we use for events with all the big gazebos, and you can, to have your own areas, and they're just not getting rented out. A lot of the city funding and park funding came from that, and Park and Rec's down on funding, and we're trying to figure out why. Well, it's because nobody's having these outdoor events anymore.
People are nervous. I'd rather have it inside.
Well, that. And this too. I'm living in the town that the fronting Patriots showed up to here the year before last, and the 30 guys in the U-Haul.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember that.
So there is that kind of, public, being out in public in large group.
Yes.
Fear. But there's people out though. I mean, we have a very diverse community now, and it's fucking amazing up here, you guys. I couldn't recommend it more. But there is that stigma, and there's always that,
Well, the only stigma that you're held against me is y'all have that thing, or you snow.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Right.
Yeah, got that.
But like last weekend, we got we got football games, hockey games, and concerts going on at the same time. So you can't even drive through Spokane, Washington. I mean, I'm like 15 minutes away, and everybody's out and just having a great time.
Outstanding.
But everybody's on edge, and then the thing is, we're so divided in our families that those family reunions aren't happening. Those those big family get-togethers aren't happening because everybody's really on edge
Indeed.
and sheltered.
Yeah,
And
I
sheltered,
can see
you know,
that. I can imagine that happening. That it
and it's sad.
oh really?
But I
Damn.
do think you guys. I think we're going to take over everything next spring. You know, next election.
I don't think we have
we're
a
gonna
choice
get
in
the
it.
House. I think we're going to get the Senate. I think we're going to get the executive, and we got no choice other than to eliminate all this shit while we have the power to do it.
In my book,
Biden
the
is
only way to do that is to make sure that we have a Democrat-controlled House, a Democrat-controlled Senate, and a
Absolutely.
Democrat in the
I think
White
we're
House.
going to get it. I think we're going to get it.
And there's only one way to do that.
And
What way
And
would
it is
that be?
to elect Democrats, which means take your ass to the poll.
There it is.
And
I'm wearing it. I'm wearing
And
the
if
reason
not-
today. I like
Even
this
if
shirt.
not, if it comes down to it, and you got to support a Republican that you know is going to stand up to this bullshit and potentially vote on the side of humanity across the aisle, so to say. I'll give that
better
guy
do your homework on that one.
I'll support him every time.
We have Democrats that don't do that for Democrats. We have Joe Manchin. We have
Yeah.
Christian fucking I shop at Forever 21
We got
Cinema who just cut and run.
It's all
We
about
got a
Cut and
primary.
run. So you can vote in Republicans. They
But
go
Uncle
and do
Fatty's
whatever.
message is
you know,
to heart.
But when you want to pull a lever or mark a ballot for somebody, go find out where they get their money
There you
from.
go. Well, you find out where their values are.
Of information.
Do they align with yours? Do they have the same ideas, whether it be a Republican or Democrat? That's what used to happen, especially down at the local level, because politics doesn't seem to get so drastic at a local level as it does a national level. And when we're talking about national politics, we're watching our House of Representatives up there.
Unless you're
It's a
sitting on
shit
some
show.
of these school boards around here that want to do away with I don't know,
books?
teaching history and banning books and
That
I don't
kind
know.
of shit.
Let's not even have a fucking library. Let's open up.
Let's make it into a detention center. Let me catch up because I got some big thank yous here to give out. Louis Russo came in with a $20 donation and said, just to invest in Blue Dot Family. Louis, thank you very much. I appreciate it tremendously. And Brittany Silly Bebo Stanley came in with a $2 donation and said, Trump for HE double hockey sticks. Oh, straight, baby. No, do not pass go. Straight down. If there's a heaven, there's got to be a hell. And if there's a hell, guess who belongs there? Thank you very much. And the Cat's Minion came in with a $50 donation and said, keep on keeping on. The Cat's Minion, thank you tremendously for that. I appreciate it wholeheartedly. Brittany, thank you. Louis, I appreciate it. I got into that. I want to say thank you to everybody. The conversation came up, well, John, we do not ask for donations on this show. We do not. But every one you give, is it appreciated? Is it needed? Yes. Are you shitting me? Michael Jensen just came in with $10 and said, we have to keep the younger generation involved. Fuck Trump. Vote blue, Kansas City, Missouri. Here I come. Spring 2024. Fuck Abbott and fuck DeSantis. Ah, what a statement that was.
He's got a mouthful.
We are trying to put down roots into the next Blue Dot family hookup where we're all going to get together again, and we have different parties in our Blue Dot family here that are working on those ends, and as soon as we find out something, we're going to let everybody know. Every time we have one of these, we get people that are able to travel and actually sit across the table from each other, and I just so lucky to have met so many of you. Mitch Goldstein being one a little while ago. KY, Michael Johnson. We've shook hands, buddy. We've done more than that, ain't we? We've passed the doobie back and forth.
We had fun.
Yes, we did.
Right.
That's right. So it's always, we pondered the problems of the universe and solved most of them, sitting around the table by the swimming pool at the hotel. And I can't wait to do that again. Oh, wait. No, BW was hollering at me a minute ago. Hey, you know, before we do that, hey, where's Bernie? Where's Bernie?
I'm right here.
Hey, Bernie, before we do the credits, guess what I got? Guess what?
What
Jeff?
do you got?
Well, for one, Travis today updated our Patreon list. So if you recently support us through Patreon, your name should be on the list. Travis had to go do that manually, name by name, because the little program that he had screwed up and he couldn't use it, so he had to go name by name on that list to make sure everybody was there. And then he promised me, Travis is very busy right now because all that pre-con work he did, well, I realized there's a whole lot of post-con work going on, a lot of video that he shot that has to be edited and get out there quick to promote the next one, which they're already planning anyway. One of the things he did was that, Bernie, because he said Bernadette put in a 2 for Blue for Bob Casey up in Pennsylvania. Bob Casey was originally elected in 2006 to the Senate. He is under attack, baby. You know how Pennsylvania is up there.
I don't have him on my list. You should have let me know.
He just did it right before the show. Dad, I got one in there. He said, I'm going to put more out in there, but I got one. I said, well, good, because I had to have at least one new one. But he did update the Patreon list and everything. And plus, he's got a lot of post-con work. And they're already having meetings about the next one because evidently the first AdabraCon went very well. Had a lot of participation in it. And they did good. So the core group that planned and put that all together, and Travis is one of them, is working on the next one. So I've got a whole year to look forward to. Anyway, I want to thank Bob K, who just came in with $5 and said, haven't seen my great-granddaughter in 7 years because the parents are hardcore Trumpers and cut my liberal ass off from that side of the family. Bob, I'm so sorry to hear that. I could empathize with you. I know exactly. Yeah, I don't have the family I had before Trump was.
No better time to reach back out than right now. You got to keep reaching. You can't let him go.
I am not any different person than the person they knew before he was elected, before he came on the scene. The problem was I opened my mouth.
They're ready to hear it.
And well, you know, I'll suck up a lot of shit in life. What I won't put on the line, and as corny as that fucking sounds to anybody, my father served, and I remember my fucking oath. And I remember what I was taught when I was a kid. I remember what I was taught when I was a Boy Scout, Cub Scout. And that it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about us.
That's right.
That's right, baby.
This allegiance that we have when we make a pledge to the flag is not allegiance to a piece of cloth. It's an allegiance to your fellow man in this country. Around the world, let's extend that out, baby.
All of humanity.
All of humanity. And we're seeing how humanity suffers right now. So, are we going to be able to fix the problems of the world? No. But we're going to be able to come in here and discuss things. We'll laugh about things. We'll commiserate with each other. We'll do whatever it takes to try to make people feel a little more comfortable in this world, to feel motivated to be involved, to make them understand that it's your vote, your voice that matters.
Yeah. After an argument, we can sit down and break bread and drink a glass of wine.
Let's do that again. Let's do that again. It's a whole lot better than pulling out weapons on each other.
It's only love. It's only love. I mean, because we have compassion for everybody.
Hell, where's that Kumbaya button? I hit that and we'll all start singing it.
Like that because we're up against a bunch of dumbasses. That's the hardest
Well,
part.
the problem is those dumbasses are our neighbors. They're our friends. They're our family. You know, as much as hell as I've gone through and my family's gone through, I can't. I just, you know, if I was a religious man, I'd say, well, I'm praying for them every day.
Yeah.
You know, in my own way, I am, and I'm sending out my vibes as to please come to your fucking senses. The only hope I have right now is there's not a sign on my street, except for Butt Boy, who's never taken his down. Let's discount him. He's not going to change. There are no other signs on my street. And it's getting to be a political season, and the more it gets closer to it, the less I see that, the more proud I am. Because I don't know, they don't like me. They're never going to like me again.
Well,
But,
they're praying
but did
for
I
our
make them
salvation,
think?
too.
I damn sure hope so. To never be
Right.
fooled by that shit again.
Well, they're. I think most are ready to start listening. I think most are ready to, at least, be reached out to, and they're praying for our salvation too, John. And I think finding common ground right now is going to be easier coming into the winter. Mitch nailed it
hope
on the
so.
head with the political stuff coming in this week with having everybody back on the boob tube. I'm telling you, social dissent is going to really come upon this winter, and
I hope so, brother.
we got this eclipse coming up next weekend too. We got a lunar eclipse.
My kids are waiting on it.
Guys, if you're into lunar stuff, there's some really cool
There's
stuff
some
going
cool
on.
shit going to be going on. Yes, are you shitting me? My kids are going to be nailed to the sky.
Libra is always when Lady Justice comes. At the end of summer, Lady Justice always comes during Libra season. And what's happened the past 6 summers in a row? Every summer, every September, every October, Trump's ass is in hot water.
Ooh, baby, I love it. Turn up the heat. Hey, I want to thank Carol DeBurs, who came in with a $5 donation and said, oh, good. She said she just subscribed to Ginger's chat show, and thank you for supporting Israel. Baby, our hearts are with Israel tonight. The heartache that we're seeing on our TV, it's just, it would break anybody's heart. This is not a quest for, I don't know what it was other than just pure terrorism, pure hate, pure evil that just came across that border.
Concerned about that.
Some of the stories that you're seeing are just heartbreaking.
We got to be concerned about him.
Let me, real quick, because I just now seen his hat in, and we're fixing to end the show. With Catman56, if you're out there, Keith, if you want to jump up here real quick, brother, I'd happy to see you. I see he's got his hand up down there. I didn't notice. John's working on the glass thing, believe me.
I'm still figuring out which button to push too, John. I'm still figuring out which
fuck these buttons down there. I got a lot of buttons in front of me. I just never know.
Catman.
Hello, Keith. I wanted to get you in here before we go out the door, brother. How are you?
Keith?
Hey,
Keith,
can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can, Keith. Hear you loud and clear, brother.
Having problems with Discord. I finally got the mic. Okay, got the mic to work.
It's booming, buddy. It's booming.
You got an echo.
Yeah, you got a little bit of an echo in there.
But
glad to hear your voice, though.
Yeah.
But I can't hear you. I can't hear you without the cell phone.
Oh, well. I ain't worth listening to anyway, buddy.
I'm always with you, Simplify, brother.
Oh, shit, we're going over. We're going to have to call this one out. Keith, I hope you can hear me. I love you, brother, for coming up, but we're going to have to end it. I appreciate you coming in, though. Yeah, we've got a delay on. We got a delay going, Keith. And I'm hearing a little bit of echo in the background. Oh, I heard you.
Go ahead and mute, Keith, and we'll see you in the blue room.
Yeah, we'll head over to the blue room. We'll try to fix that in a minute. All right. And Michael. KY.
Hey, brother.
Brother, I appreciate you coming in, using your voice tonight.
Hey, it's always welcome. Veterans, just like Bernadette said, we have to have our own little room sometime, just kind of snap a little.
Yeah.
Because I don't
Flowers
mind.
don't grow without rain, brother.
Yeah, but I don't mind doing it right here. I want to expose everything I know to a degree that wakes some people up.
I think you woke up a few people today, Michael.
I hope so.
If not, we'll come back mañana and try again.
That's
we'll
right.
keep raising our voice until we wake up everybody we can.
That is a fact. Bernadette, Mr. Dick, love you guys because you both rock. And y'all get John a little bit of something to where he can calm his
get a fire extinguisher out every once in a while. Cool Bernadette down, boy. She gets on fire.
I like it. Well,
I do too, brother. That's one big reason why she's here. She has no problem using her voice. I'm proud
Well,
of her.
you know, when I'm in here, I'm going to use my
Don't talk shit. She's up there listening to us now. Damn. Hearing us talk nice about her.
Pets are up, vote blue. Gen Z is on us. Hey, check out Midas Touch Network
I
about
never
the.
miss Midas Touch. I love Midas Touch.
Oh my God! Although
I don't know how that guy keeps cranking them out just constant.
I
And
mean,
he's very journalistic. He comes, yeah. I keep looking at him going, I need to do that. I need to be more
Michael
professional.
Popak is one of my favorite because Popak is so.
Oh, man.
I mean, right there tells
There
you the
are voices out there. Texas Paul.
Texas Paul, yes.
He's big. I love his voice. There's
Let's see,
just Leo Sahaki. Don't forget Leo out there. Us
Yes,
down here in this small arena down here, we try our best to rally the troops and to get everybody motivated, baby, because that's what you do.
It's a lot like Leo Sahaki.
We're gonna move on because we gotta go. Them people over in the blue room are waiting on us.
I know it.
All right,
Knowledge
Uncle
is
Fatty.
power and truth is golden.
Uncle Fatty.
Knowledge is power and truth is golden.
It is, brother. Thank you for coming in. I always enjoy your conversation, brother.
Great to see you guys. I might see you over in the blue room here.
We're going to slide over there just in a minute.
Yeah, bud.
And Misha Chick.
Yes, John.
How are you, dear?
Well, these long goodbyes.
All
are
these
killing
long
me.
goodbyes. Do you have anybody you want to call out?
I have a couple of names. I also want to remind Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana's got something to be reminded for?
It does. It has primaries on the 14th of October.
There you go.
Now, mind you, that's going to be for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, secretary of state, state senate, state house.
Oh, yeah, you want to vote in that one.
And some court positions also. So get out there.
Pay attention, baby.
Vote on the 14th of October. And there's also 4 amendments that you should know about. And I'm not going to go over those, but you should look them up.
Tennessee Brando, indeed. I like that guy too, Jamie. There's voices out there all over the place, everywhere.
Oh, yeah, Tennessee.
And we're all herding them in the same direction, baby.
I love him because he comes from where I come from. Yes, and James, he will acknowledge it, I guarantee it.
Ain't it funny how a lot of these voices are coming from somewhere out in the country, ain't they?
Yeah.
And as always, John, I want to remind everybody that the views and opinions expressed here on the Blue Dot Family are strictly those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect those of the Blue Dot Family in its entirety. So take what you like, leave the rest. I'm not going to read the whole disclaimer.
Well, you're not.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
We have to spend a lot of time here.
I know.
I'm going to shout out some shout outs.
I should play it. I have it on a button right there. But we have these long goodbyes, and then what? We're already 15 minutes over now.
I know. So I'm just going to say thank you to Al Ingram from Illinois, Tim Quinn from Tennessee, Maddie Palchette from Michigan, Sonia Ecavera from New York, Laura Steiger from New York, John Hunter from Idaho, Stanley Bennick from Texas, and Tommy Campbell from Pennsylvania. Thank you for sharing that shit.
Thanks for sharing that shit. Keep sharing that shit because this shit needs to go a long way. Anyway, Mr. Chick, I love you, baby. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Facebook page. What is Mitch is in Pittsburgh?
Mitch is in Pittsburgh. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure. That's right.
Mitch, I can't say enough nice things. I love that guy.
There it is.
I really do.
There it is.
I've never met his wife, but Julia is so kind and so smart, which is.
Yep.
They make a good team.
Just
anyway,
like our own Bernadette.
Our own Bernadette. Bernie, baby, there are people that love your voice because it is powerful. And you speak from your heart. And that's why I love you so much. That's how come I've been right there next to you the whole time as I can hear the passion in your voice when you speak.
Well, I appreciate that. And I don't know why y'all listen to me. All I want to say is thank you to all the Patreon members that help put this show on every day.
Every damn day.
That we're out here.
And there's new names on that list, too.
There are new names on the list. There are new names in the chat. I appreciate you guys coming in and enjoying the conversation and using your voices This is what it's going to take in order to get our country back. I'm here to inspire you. If I can inspire you to get out the vote and take somebody with you, do whatever you can. Start now. Make sure you're on your voter registration rolls. Start now. Don't wait until the last minute. These elections are coming up on a monthly basis. Louisiana, this month. Let's get out here. These people are important. Let's vote out the ones that we don't feel is doing our best interest.
Yeah,
There's a lot of them, y'all.
A lot of them. So take a look,
Amen.
baby.
A lot of them.
Anyway,
So,
we'll be back here.
Vote like
we're going
your
to get
life
together
depends on.
with the Two for Blues. And we're going to tell you all the Two for Blues that we have. We're going to coordinate that, right, John? Right.
Sure. Yeah,
And,
that's the ticket.
And, you know,
John's behind on his shit.
spend a little time telling you guys where you could put $2 and make a difference in a campaign in a district near you. And if it ain't near you, maybe one far away that'll turn this country back blue and get some common sense back in our house again. Because right now we're operating without a speaker, y'all. Not cool.
Not cool.
The
Not
world
good
is
for our
watching.
country, baby. Not good for
Not
anywhere
cool.
right now. Anyway.
So let's get out here and let's do this, and let's stay supportive in all of our efforts to get out the vote. That's what's the most important thing, is getting out the vote.
Your voice doesn't
Thank
matter
you,
if you don't use it.
Absolutely. And
Nobody's
we're giving you
hearing
the
you if you don't
opportunity
use
to
it.
come in here and use your voice. Come join us in
Indeed.
Discord. Come get on the air. Tell the world, tell America how you feel, where you are, what's happening in your little neck of the woods.
Put your 2 cents in.
Absolutely.
It adds up.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's
Anyway,
worth it.
thank you, Bernie, and thank you
All
to
right.
everybody tonight for coming in and joining us. I noticed the participation in the chat has gone up tremendously, and that's the heart of this show. We're up here in Mouse. We're talking the best we can, but the conversations go back and forth into that chat are really something, and I hope you get a chance. I have to back them up and read them because I can't see everything go by so fast.
And
Anyway,
on your way out the room tonight, smash that like button.
smash that like button. Share. Like, share, and subscribe. It's right down there at the bottom of the page. Anyway, we love you all. Thank you for being here. We will be back here again Tuesday night for another Blue Dot family meeting. Until then, take care of yourself. Pay attention to what's going on in the world. As heartbreaking as it is, we're the only ones that can fix this shit. And that's everywhere. So, take care. Y'all say goodnight, teacher.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Y'all take care, and we will be back on